games, then I think you could put any other combination of 4 teams on this preseason schedule, and I think you would have gotten the same result.
A couple of things that concern me. The Falcons came in last night. We talked about this on the kickoff show yesterday, Hayes. They came in losing 16 straight preseason games. The Falcons had an extra preseason game this year because of the Hall of Fame game. If any team was going to show up and not really care about playing football, it should have been the Falcons. I'm concerned that the Jaguars don't have that will to win. I don't care if it's the backups. You still need that winning culture. But primarily I'm concerned with Gardner Minshew as the backup quarterback. In this league, quarterbacks are protected. But if anything happens to Nick Foles, I don't think he is the guy to go in there and take over the reins.
And here's the other part of that narrative, the Gardner Minshew narrative. And we're all rooting for the guy. Wonderful guy. He's coming here doing the best he can. He's a good dude. But here's the reality. In 3 games now, Trace McSorley, a 6th-round pick out of Penn State, and Gardner was also a 6th-round pick.
And about the same size, I would say.
You
can't say 6'5".
Yeah, an undersized guy. Trace McSorley, a 6th-round pick out of Penn State. Clayton Thorson, a 5th-round pick out of Northwestern. And Danny Etling, a year ago, a 7th-round pick. A 6th, a 5th, and a 7th. All looked significantly better than Gardner did for this team. Now, in fairness, it's not a tennis match where it's one-on-one. It's not a boxing match. You've got 10 other guys out there with you the entire time. So did McSorley, Thorson, and Etling all have better personnel alongside them than Gardner ever had? And you can make that point, and you can make that argument. So, and I want to be fair to Gardner because I'm rooting for the kid. But I'm not being honest if I don't say that we watched 3 games now. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on the Miami game because that was a 35-year-old veteran played much of the game, and then a first-round draft pick played the rest of the game. I'm just comparing quarterbacks, all right? But McSorley, Thorson, Etling, all taken sort of when Gardner was, right? McSorley a 6th-round pick like him this year. Thorson a 5th-round pick this year. Etling a 7th-round pick. Kind of the same guy.
Etling was playing receiver 3 weeks ago.
Correct, for the Patriots. He was that's right. So it's kind of the same, picked up the same way. Didn't they all look way better head-to-head in the same game? And again, it's not tennis. You're not playing head-to-head. But it felt that way to the fans. I promise you. Is that because Minshew is overmatched and is the wrong guy or isn't ready? Or is it because the guys around him weren't very good either and they just haven't built the depth? Is it a combination of the two? How do you see that?
I think it's a combination that tilts more in favor of Gardner Minshew because, we did see a lot of drops, and that's been a theme. We've seen protection issues, particularly at the left side. That's been a theme. So I think what you've learned with Gardner Minshew is he's a quarterback like most backups where everything's going to have to be pretty good around him. And that's a leap of faith because he never got a chance to really play with the ones. But you could sort of hear it from Doug last night that Doug wants more out of Gardner Minshew, but there was a couple of instances in his press conference where he clearly, emphasized that he is reliant on other players to play well too in order to look good, and there were a lot of times where that didn't happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if they'd seen enough and they're going to go, get a veteran in here. I wouldn't be surprised if they roll the dice and stick it out and say, you know what, let's hope Nick Foles plays 16 games. But even if Nick Foles is able to get to week 11 before he was to suffer an injury that might keep him out a game or two, okay, well now Gardner Minshew's had 2 months of development, and where will he be in that development at that point? Because the thing with Minshew is he at least does have upside. Now, he may not have much, but he's so young that there's got to be something else there. That he can't possibly be a finished product, whereas guys that you would go acquire that are 28, 29 or older that have been in the league, they may not have as much. They probably are kind of who they are at that point, barring something, extraordinary. So I could see them going either way. I kind of think that my gut tells me, and again, Doug's really the guy that we've been reading keys off of. Tom and Dave don't talk, and so it's hard to really know what the front office is thinking. But it seems like Doug's in favor of Gardner Minshew I asked him, I said, are you comfortable if they decide to Gardner Minshew's the backup, or are you comfortable with that? And I think he clearly is, but he needs to see more. But I think he's basing it on Gardner Minshew has been hamstrung by the other 10 guys around.
Well, he does strike me as a guy, Lauren. You said you're concerned for him to be the backup. To Hayes' point, he does strike me as a guy, and I'm not trying to be Pollyanna here, that would be better with good players around him to step up. McSorley, Thorson, and Etling, the three guys I brought up, are all really athletic guys. I mean, McSorley and Etling could get a look at slot receiver in the league. They really could. They could get. I'm not saying they're going to be Julian Edelman, who went from quarterback to slot receiver. But I promise you, McSorley and Etling, as you said about Etling, same thing with McSorley. There was discussion about both those guys being slot receivers. Thorson, there wasn't that discussion. He was athletic now. Remember, he got out of the pocket a few times? That's one thing Gardner's never going to have, okay? Magoo had it. But Gardner's not going to have – he's just not going to have that. So the step up when he's got better people around him, a little longer pocket, he might be just fine. So that's the conversation. I do sense they're going with him. I sense the reason he played so long last night is they wanted to see more than they've seen, or if they were totally confident, he wouldn't have played at all last night. The Falcons used their fourth guy or whatever it was last night. I mean, technically, I think he's really the fourth guy. And so that's what you want to do if you're confident in you. If Chad Henne had been here last year or Cody Kessler, they wouldn't have played last night. So the fact that you're playing your backup is you haven't seen enough from the backup, and I get that. So we'll discuss that. We'll talk about some of the cuts coming up, the ones we already know about. We'll get to that coming up on the program today. We're here till 5 o'clock. Matt Paulus joins us from JOI to talk about concussions. Boy, oh boy, that is rampant. So Matt joins us every Friday here at about 3:40, so we'll certainly do that coming up on the program as well. I do want to get into the cuts, the ones we know of. We'll talk about that. And also Florida State, Boise being moved to Tallahassee tomorrow at noon. Did they make the right decision? Our college preview comes up next, our Big Chief Tire college preview after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
No, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I don't like your style, your politics, or your sense of humor.
Mornings
I don't like what you say or how you say it.
I think you're bluffing.
on 1010XL.
Hey, folks, you want to make dinner way quicker? We'll do it with mobile ordering on the Chick-fil-A app. Just download the app, place an order, and then pick it up at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Even our 30-count nuggets are available. No cooking, no sweat. Boy, the app makes dinner so much easier, and you can earn points and redeem rewards at your favorite Chick-fil-A. So you want to do it quickly? Do it with the Chick-fil-A app. Download it and get that 30-count nugget. You'll love it. Do it all at Chick-fil-A.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Meet Vuse Alto, a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. With long-lasting pods filled with liquid blended in the U.S., Vuse Alto delivers our highest performing vapor yet. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Vuse, leading the way today, tomorrow, and the future. Underage sale prohibited.
Honda generators are in stock and going fast at Power Sports St. Augustine. Generators for every situation. Clean and quiet, their Honda generators can save you thousands if your power goes out. Only at Power Sports St. Augustine.
If you need an insurance agent, let me recommend Craig Dewhurst from State Farm. You call him at 940-9740. Really good agent, really good guy. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he's got it, and he'll do an awfully good job for you. He'll look at your policy. He'll make sure you're spending the right amount of money. He'll make sure you get the right amount of coverage. And he may say, hey, you're good just the way you are. Or he may say, here's how I can improve it for you. Bottom line is he'll be there to get you the right deal, and he'll help you along the way. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm. Call him at 940-9740.
Hear ye, hear ye. The Great Car Sale of 2019 is September 13th and 14th at the Morocco Shrine Auditorium. Brought to you by 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Featuring over 500 used and late model cars, trucks, and SUVs from 10 local dealers. Audi, Toyota, BMW, Ford. You name it, we have it. Huge discounts and deals all day at the biggest car sale of the year. September 13th and 14th at the Morocco Shrine. Get pre-approved for a loan as low as 1.89% at 121FCU.org.
Kick off your week with Breakfast with Boselli.
Coffee?
Tony Boselli, Dan Hicken, and Jeff Prosser. Brought to you by Claude Nolan Cadillac and ClaudeNolanCadillac.com. Breakfast provided by Chick-fil-A. Monday morning on 1010XL.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles update. Absolute Football came out 2 days ago, and it's just like 2018. Each box will have a rookie material autograph card and a long list of rookies, veterans, and tons of autographs to get you ready for this 2019 season with Absolute Football. 1 mile north of the Avenues Mall at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
All offers are with approved credit and not a conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Summer clearance event.
Thank you, Jacksonville, for letting us be your preferred dealer as we celebrate our 7-year anniversary at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington. Enjoy on-road driving fun in a brand new Dodge Challenger and get the performance you really want. For a limited time, drive yours from just $259 a month. Turbocharge your savings with 0% financing. Save up to $12,000 off Ram trucks. We've got a great selection of $1,500, $2,500, and $3,500. Get up to $12,000 off MSRP and save. Drive a new Dodge Journey from only $249. Every model, every option from just $249 a month. See our inventory at #1CJD.com. Get a brand new Jeep Compass from as little as $209 a month. Join us for huge savings as we celebrate our 7-year anniversary. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Arlington, 9600 Atlantic Boulevard, across from the Regency Square Mall.
The NFL season is about to kick off. Know what that means? It's time to bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie has more odds and more prop bets than any other sports book, and absolutely nobody pays out faster. You get your cash when you want it. Sign up now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. That's up to $1,000 in free money to bet your favorite teams. Want more? How about $100,000 more? You win MyBookie's first ever NFL handicapping super contest, and $100,000 is all yours. Don't play on some no-name sports book. Bet with the best at MyBookie.ag. Use promo code RADIO to get your exclusive double your money offer today. That's promo code RADIO. Play, win, and get paid at MyBookie.
My name is Janice. I'm a client of Brett Hastings. Brett is the most brilliant, diligent, hardworking attorney I have ever met. He is truly dedicated to his clients and fights for them to the very end. Brett fought hard to win a large personal injury lawsuit for me. They are the very best legal team I have ever met. I would hire them again in a heartbeat.
Learn more at justiceforjacksonville.com. Law offices of Brett Hastings, where the injured find justice.
Marine Max Jacksonville Beach and Grady White Boats are both ready to get you on the water today. Grady White is celebrating 60 years of providing the ultimate boat ownership experience. Whether you are a hardcore fisherman or just want to enjoy cruising Northeast Florida waters, Grady White has 27 models from 18 to 45 feet to choose from. Visit Marine Max Jacksonville Beach, marinemax.com/Jacksonville.
Being prepared in a hurricane also means knowing what to do after a loss. At Anajar and Levine, we're more than just accident attorneys. Call us for help at 1-800-747-FREE.
4 hours of nothing but football. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night on 1010XL.
Let's get into a little bit of college football. We will catch you up on all the cuts, by the way. Dayton Jones, you know about it. We'll talk about that. That may be the only surprising one so far. Thomas Rawls, according to D-Rock, just got released. That one might be a little bit surprising. The other ones, I think most people that have trickled in today from various sources are ones you knew about, and we'll certainly get to those coming up. But time now for the Big Chief to our college preview, college conversation here. We'll do it every Friday at 3:20 or so. The city of Jacksonville decided to move the Florida State game. If you listened to our program on Wednesday, we had this conversation that if you were moving it to Doak Campbell, it would have to happen by Thursday. Even if you didn't have as much hurricane information as you would want, there's no way you could decide to play the game in Tallahassee on Saturday if you moved it on Friday, particularly since they decided to play it at noon. Travel information, here's what you should know. Boise got in last night to Jacksonville. They were flying in on Thursday night, so they could have played they could have played Friday night, they could have played Saturday noon, they could have played Saturday night at either venue. So they still flew into Jacksonville, still stayed here last night, and then today drove over to Tally. So So everything would have been in play. I thought the charter could get messed up because I assumed they were flying on Friday. When I found out they were flying on Thursday, any of those options would have been in play. I can tell you the organizers of the game, John Thrasher wanted to play the game here, the president at Florida State. Obviously, Rick Catlett and the Jack Sports Council people really wanted to play the game here. I think they exhausted all resources. I think at the end of the day, Mayor Curry and the city of Jacksonville decided for purposes of safety, they needed to move the game. There's already huge 95's already backed up with evacuation. You've seen it on there. I've already seen some of the tweets. So the decision was made by the mayor of Jacksonville to move the game because of people leaving South Florida, driving through 95, all the congestion on the highway on the East Coast. That was why he made the decision. He told our Rick Ballou, and Rick tweeted this out after talking to Mayor Curry, that one of the things that concerned him is if we had a football game here, people wouldn't take evacuation notices as seriously. That he just felt like for the safety, and there was a fallback by playing the game in Tallahassee if they got ahead of it. So he made that decision. It will look unusual tomorrow because I think we're probably going to have a sunny day. And so it's very similar to how Florida and LSU moved, yet it was a sunny day in Gainesville, and that was all the commotion. I'll give you my take. I thought it was the right decision then to move the Florida LSU game. I think it's the right decision now. I truly hate it for the Jacksonville Seminole fans. I tweeted this. And there's a big, big Seminole following here. And every year they've got to watch Florida and Georgia come here. And I know they care about Jacksonville. They're Jacksonville residents. They understand the gigantic economic impact that game has. And I would hope people hope that game never leaves. But I get it if you're a diehard fan of a team. This is one weekend your team was here. This weekend your team was coming. Your team, your new quarterback and your new offensive coordinator and the new belief in your team and the new culture, and you were going to tailgate all day long all around that stadium, and that was the game to watch, and ESPN had it, and you're right here in Jacksonville, and poof, it's gone. I get it. I'm being very serious. I hate this for Florida State fans because I know part of it's because so many of my buddies are Florida State fans. We have a lot of fun going back and forth, but this is a tough thing, and I hate it for them. Having said that, I don't know that given the information the mayor had yesterday, I don't know that there was much else he could have done. So that's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, I agree. And at the time that they made the decision, Dorian is moving about 14 miles an hour, much faster than now. The latest advisory that came out at 2 o'clock, the storm is slowed to about 10 miles an hour. Well, when you're talking this great a distance, that really, really changes the timeline. So now people are looking at it and they see that, Saturday night, it's still going to be even well before the Bahamas. Well, that's not the timeline that they were looking at with this storm. They thought by the time we got to Saturday, this thing might be on Florida's coast. And so anytime there's the threat of it, you have to do what's best for the safety of every citizen. And the safety of every citizen was best served by moving an event that was going to have 50,000 people at it to a place that's further removed from where this storm is going to threaten. So it's great news that it looks like the storm may not have a great impact on us, or may at least not have a great impact on us for until next week. Hopefully, it will have none. But I think you just don't know. I mean, you have no idea what the storm is going to do, and even in the forecast they have right now, I guarantee you. No one that does this for a living would be willing to bet their house on what Dorian's going to do in the next 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So to criticize anybody for making a decision on whether to hold an event or not, I don't know how you can possibly do it. I think they made the right call putting it in Tallahassee.
It's why they're called models, because they are using the best information they have to try and project and predict what these things are going to do. But that's why they're also called natural disasters. This isn't something that goes on a train track. And so also I think it's good that all those hotel rooms in Jacksonville were freed up. If there are people coming from South Florida and now it doesn't look like potentially Jacksonville will feel quite the same effects, well, now there's rooms available for people to stay versus now, obviously, all the Florida State people and the Boise State people going to Tallahassee versus before, there was probably not going to be that much shelter available here.
And I'll say, so you agree you made the right call.
Oh,
so we're all in agreement. So, well, not everybody. You say, of course, not everybody agreed.
Fans at times look at the myopic view and what's best for me. But I think if you take a step back and you look at what's best for the safety and security of a bunch of humans, then that's the right call.
Would you felt the same way if it was the Gators?
Absolutely.
Would you
It
have felt
happened to Florida. And
would
Florida
you-
got a road game, whereas
Yeah.
FSU at least gets the home
You
game.
would have felt the same way.
Absolutely.
Would you have felt the same way if it was the
Yeah,
Gators?
I mean, you can't
Yeah.
mess with
Yeah.
a potential Category 3, Category 4 hurricane.
Yeah, I would have felt the same way if it was the Gators, but I know people out there asking that question of us, so I'm going
Sure.
to ask it of us as well. Would you have felt the same way? I'd have been more disappointed because then it was my team that wouldn't have gotten to play here, but I would have felt the same way. It's the right decision. Having said that, I will tell you this, and I will push for this. I don't have much of a voice, but I'll push anyway. We have a radio show, so we can push on the radio show. I hope there's a make good for Jacksonville Seminoles. I hope there is. I think that's only fair. And knowing John Thrasher's from this area and wants to see that happen, I hope they go. It won't be this year, obviously, but I hope the Seminoles say, you know what? Next year's Wake Forest game, next year's NC State game, next year's preseason whatever, let's bring this thing to Jacksonville. Let's give those Jacksonville Seminole fans another crack at this. I think they deserve that. I really do. Let's give the Jack Sports Council another crack at putting that thing on. So, because everybody tried. Everybody tried to put the thing on. And, yeah, in retrospect, probably could have played the game tonight and probably would have managed it. But I will tell you, 95 is already jammed. It's already jam-packed. So I think Mayor Curry made the right decision. I respect how difficult that decision for him was, and I mean that very sincerely. I truly respect how difficult it was.
How about FSU Clemson comes to Jacksonville next year?
That one may be hard to get out of Tallahassee. Okay, that may be a little tougher. Just saying.
I mean, it could be Pitt, it could be Wake Forest.
Yeah.
One of
but,
those
but
teams.
I'd like to see him get some game. I really would like to see him get some game. Again, that one's harder, but I would like to see him get some game. Next year, the year after. I know so many Jacksonville Seminoles who were so excited about this, so excited about going down to Lot J, going down to Tailgaters, going down tailgate. That was their day. Florida wasn't playing. Miami wasn't playing. They had to listen to Florida-Miami talk all week. This was their week and their day, and I hate for them they don't have that.
There were huge tailgates set up, and that's the sad part too. In concerts, absolutely.
Yeah, and I hate that. But hey, I think the right decision was made given all of that.
And they're just $10 tickets now, which I think is smart.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the refunded tickets, or they'll have at least more information about how you get your tickets refunded.
And it's 2.5 hours. You can still go to the game and get back in time. So I just hope. I hate that for the Seminole fans. All right. Having said all that, who does it benefit? Is there an appreciable? Is it help FSU because now they're playing at home? They don't have to sleep in a hotel room, or at least a hotel room out of town. Boise, instead of getting out of the hotel room and driving 20 minutes to the stadium, they had to today drive 2.5 hours. Is there an appreciable effect for either team? I got some thoughts on it. What do you think? Who does it help? Who does it help or hurt, or anybody?
Originally, I was concerned that the concern about Hurricane Dorian would affect the FSU players, but now I think for the most part, they'll have ideas of what their families are doing. There's enough time to predict the evacuations that need to happen. So I think it ends up helping Florida State. They're at home. It is going to probably end up being, I'm going to guess that it's going to be a larger crowd there than it might have been here. And
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so I think they're going to be revved up because all of a sudden now they get to start the season at home again.
It's a huge advantage for Florida State. To me, it's worth an additional 3 points. I think it's a stadium they're comfortable in. Obviously it's their city, it's their home, and I don't think it negatively affects Boise State necessarily, like the bus trip and the extra. I think that's stuff that they can probably get past pretty quick. But I think it's a fairly non-factor for Boise State. But I think it really helps Florida State.
Here's why I think it helps Florida State more than anything else. I don't think, and this is no knock on the Gator Bowl folks or the Jack Sports Council folks, I should say, or Jacksonville fans, I don't think it was going to be a great crowd. They had sold 45,000 tickets, is the announced. Usually you don't get as many as the announced. And so, and then if they had moved it to Friday night or even moved it up on Saturday, 28,000 of those 45 are from out of town.
Right.
So it would have been harder for those people to get here, either noon or night. I think you were probably looking at a crowd in the 30s. I think a crowd in the 30s in a stadium that holds almost 70 would have benefited Boise State. That would have – when you go on the road, what you want is an empty house. Okay, and now it won't be that. I'll bet you – what do you figure? Mid-50s?
Mm-hmm.
Mid-50s for this game? Give
Sure.
or take 60 in Tallahassee. I had to sell them quickly. But I think
But people who might not normally get to go because of the ticket prices, $10, you can go.
Very good point. So I think it helps FSU, and I think you said it right. It doesn't hurt Boise. It helps FSU. What does help both teams is no one's sitting around in a hotel all day. So you're ready to go play, and who will manage that the best, we'll see. But yeah, I think advantage for FSU in the game. So those are my thoughts on it. I hate it for the Seminole fans. I do. I hate it for this. I hate it for the Jacksonville Seminole fans that they don't get to go to that game. We'll talk more college coming up later on in the day. But Kerwin Bell and USF act like he's the head coach tonight against Whiskey, huh?
Yeah.
Kerwin has some ball plays. I mean, I'm really knowing Kerwin the way I do. Knowing what an incredibly good if you missed it, if you haven't followed it for 100 years, Kerwin Bell played football at Florida, was a very good player, went on to become a legendary high school coach in Ocala. JU hired him. Alan Verlander hired him to be the coach here. JU had some really good teams because he threw it all over the lot when he was the coach here at JU. Went on to coach at Valdosta State, won the national championship last year in Division II, the national title at Valdosta State. That got him the offensive coordinator job with Charlie Strong at USF. USF isn't UCF yet, but obviously the path is clear that they can be. UCF just showed it. Blake Barnett, the quarterback's a former Alabama five-star, four-star,
Yeah, I think
five-star,
so.
big time recruit. He now will be running that Kerwin Bell offense. I can't wait to watch that. And he's playing a big-time team in Wisconsin. I don't know enough about Wisconsin and USF to know who's going to win the game, but I know I can't wait to watch Kerwin Bell call ball plays on ESPN against Wisconsin. I'm really excited about that tonight.
I am too, and it's going to be the first upset of the college football year.
You got it already.
South Florida is taking down Wisconsin tonight.
Let me tell you, Brooks, I don't know who you went to high school with over there at St. Melvin's Middle, but
How did I go to high school to middle school?
They might have been afraid. That was pretty good one.
She's pretty smart.
They might have been afraid, but you know who's not afraid?
That's why I was smart.
You know who's not afraid?
Hayes
Carline's not afraid, okay? Other people in this world are afraid, okay?
I've heard he brings the hammer from
He's
time
not
to time.
afraid. I mean, he's the guy that's not afraid.
I love it.
He's looking all serious even now over there. This is the guy that's not afraid is what he
The
is.
one thing I'll caution you, Frank,
By the way, I would love that.
I know you're excited to watch Kerwin Bell, but Wisconsin and obviously their rushing attack, Jonathan Taylor returning, it's really going to be Charlie Strong, how he matches up against
Yeah, I think
that.
Wisconsin's probably going to
I think Charlie Strong's a good coach.
He is a good coach.
I mean,
He
if
is a good coach.
if Charlie Strong has realized, and from talking to Kerwin when he joined us in May, if Charlie Strong has really told Kerwin Bell, the offense is yours, I am not going to interfere in any way, and I'm just going to coach the defense and manage they will win big.
Well, I can tell you I will tell you the conversation. Kerwin talked to us at First Coast, but I can also tell you the conversation Kerwin told me off the air. I'll tell you, here's the real conversation. Kerwin said, they're good friends. Kerwin said to Charlie, he said, listen, Charlie, I love you, and I'm dying to coach at that level. I can't come if it's not my offense. If that's arrogant of me, I apologize, but it's better that I'm arrogant today than in September. I can't come. I mean, how much we huddle, how much we don't huddle, how we're going to play. You have to have your defense ready because we're playing fast. We're going to have more plays than you're used to having as a defensive coordinator. Don't hire me if we're not doing it that way. And I can't believe how excited I am that you're even calling me. But don't hire me if we're not going to play it that way. Charlie goes, got it. Do you want the job? I'm telling you, I will tell you that was on the phone and that conversation happened. And so
Smart move by Charlie Strong.
Yeah, and by Kerwin, an honest move. He said, let's not do this unless this is how we're going to do this. Right? I mean, we got to be very clear about that. We're not going to do it unless we're going to do it this way. And so he was very clear about that. So, yeah, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch him. I've been waiting a long time to watch Kerwin Bell call plays at a Power 5 school, and that's tonight.
It's going to be very exciting. A few more Jaguars cuts. I know we'll get to this in a little bit. Offensive tackle Josh Wells, linebacker Ramik Wilson, both in the last few minutes since we've been on air talking college football.
Okay, so Wells cut, Wilson cut.
Yes, sir.
Earlier, Thomas Rawls, C.J. Rivas, Terrell Pryor, Dayton Jones, Alex Magoo. Anybody else of note?
Savion Smith.
Savion Smith and Tay Hayes were cut. But, I mean, of guys that we weren't sure were going to get cut, there's been a bunch. Dayton Jones, Terrell Pryor, Thomas Rawls, Josh Wells, C.J. Rivas. Now, I might have guessed some of them were cut. I don't know how many were on your 53, but we didn't know for sure. So more about that coming up later on. Pete Prisco joins us at the top of the hour to talk NFL. But let's get it back to college football, high school football. A lot about high schools, concussions. Such a problem in the world of all sports now, in the world, period. Matt Paulus joins us from JOI to talk about that and more when we continue on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, if you love good music, if you love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and who doesn't, you need to get to Alhambra and hear the Petty Breakers. It's the nation's premier Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers tribute act. They are based out of Southern California. They are so good, well known to be so good. So call right now, 641-1212, or log on to alhambrajax.com. Don't wait now. This thing's selling out. That's not a sales line. That's not a bit. It is selling out. The Petty Breakers are so good. All that good that great, great music, American Girl and Free Fallin' and Refugee. You know the music, the great, great music of Petty. Well, the Petty Breakers are here one night at Alhambra. Get your tickets right now. September 9th, by the way, is the night of the show. It's a Monday night. 641-1212, or log on to alhambrajax.com. Have a great night. Go see the Petty Breakers at Alhambra.
The class of 2020 is making history. Oakleaf's Chance Williams, Baldwin's Xavier McGriff, and Sandalwood's Javonte Kinsey. Committed to Miami, Florida International and Bowling Green. Follow them this fall under the Friday Night Lights on 1010XL.
Prosser here, and did you know your home has a hero in Fenwick Plumbing? How long will you let a leak drain your wallet and damage your home? Take $50 off instantly when you schedule your expert Fenwick Plumbing repair. Call now for honest, upfront pricing and a 30-day repair warranty that's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Stop wondering how to handle that leak and start saving time and money. Tell them I said fix that leak. And mention me when you call 660-0556 or visit fenwickplumbing.com. That's 660-0556 or fenwickplumbing.com.
Hey, if you want a bank you can trust, you want Center State Bank with 7 locations here on the First Coast. Terrific people, terrific bankers. They understand banking and finance. They understand how hard it is to start and maintain a business. That's why they're Florida's business bank. But they also understand how important it is to treat you right on a personal level. Nice folks, good bankers. That's what you get from Center State Bank. It really is. I love banking at Center State Bank. 7 locations on the First Coast. You want a bank? You want Center State Bank.
Currently driving a Nissan, Toyota, or Acura, you can upgrade now, and Infinity of Orange Park will make your payments for 12 months. That's right, no matter what you drive, you can trade up to a new Infinity, and we'll make your payments for a year. Plus, they're backed by our exclusive complimentary lifetime warranty, a brand new Infinity, with payments until September 2020 on us, and a lifetime warranty. Rush to Jack Hanania's Infinity of Orange Park, online at infinityoforangepark.com. That's $1,000 per month. Full details.
A major storm is approaching, but you can count on JEA to safely restore power as quickly as possible. During Phase 1, we will restore power to critical infrastructure, hospitals, shelters, and police and fire stations. In Phase 2, we'll put all our resources into restoring power to neighborhoods and businesses. And during Phase 3, we won't stop until every outage is resolved. To help us better communicate with you, update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
It's all about Jacksonville's history, people, places, and events. All things Jacksonville with Bruce Arms. Great guests, stories, and stuff you might not know about our city. Catch All Things Jacksonville Saturday morning at 11 on 1010XL.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer Gainswave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. Gainswave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the Gainswave ED treatment today.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Baloo here for the Blue Crab Crab House, once again voted the #1 crab shack in Northeast Florida. What about Sundays over there? You kidding me? $1.95 Bloody Marys, mimosas as well, up until 5 o'clock. Alex always playing live music right there on the deck. The best seafood in Jacksonville, the Blue Crab Crab House. They've been in Jacksonville for 23 years, right there on Jolington Creek Road in San Jose. I'll see you at the Blue Crab Crab House.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by out-of-town tax companies that focus only on signing you up without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, or unfiled returns, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law and get the help you need. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. Call J. David Tax Law for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or a phone call away.
Being prepared in a hurricane also means knowing what to do after a loss. At Anajar and Levine, we're more than just accident attorneys. Call us for help at 1-800-747-FREE.
Starting the weekend with football. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night on 1010XL.
The JOI Football Friday night continues. Part of it is the Big Chief Tire Friday on our program. Till 5 o'clock we'll be here. Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, Andrew Gibson. I'm Frank Frangie. Matt Paulus joins us from JOI on a regular basis to talk about various injuries. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing
Good
today?
to see you.
Thanks.
So I forgot you're a Wisconsin guy.
Yeah.
Wisconsin guy. You and Tim both.
Big time.
How about that? I've been railing about how he just called.
Are you worried about tonight's game?
No.
Okay.
You should be.
I should be, right?
Hayes has already called the USF upset.
When they said Cohn was going to start at quarterback, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was hoping that the young guy was going to win it, but that's all right.
So we'll see what happens. Hey, I want to get. We talked a little. We cheated last week. We talked a little bit about concussions beforehand because I told a story of how we don't, as kids, we don't even know what a concussion is when you've had one. Matt, I've asked you this before, but for this latest cycle of audience, why did we just now start paying attention? Now you didn't because you're in the business, but fans never paid attention to concussions like they do now. Why did it? More information? Have we seen more people with CTE and the results? Is that what it is? What do you think?
I think it's a combination of a few things. I think a lot of it is more awareness and the stigma of, getting your bell rung and you think you need to sit out, used to be a negative connotation before. It used to be you're a wimp.
You were tough, right.
Yeah, you need to toughen up, right? And I think the education part of it has come a long way in getting coaches, parents, athletes, understanding what it really is, and then also saying it's okay if you have that, and we need to take you out of the game to make sure that you don't injure yourself further. So I think that has come a long way in that aspect. And then obviously the tools we use to assess concussions now are much better. Okay, like I talked about last week. I graduated undergrad in '97. We knew what concussions were. We had little paper sheets that we used to kind of do a test of them.
Right.
But now with all these computer tests that programs that they have, guidance counselors at the schools are involved now. If a kid's still having issues, they pull them out of some of the classes. They don't take tests. All that collaboration has come a long way in the last 10 years, I would say, for sure. And I think it's just the stigma of having a concussion is not a negative thing anymore. And they understand that they need to report it if they have those symptoms.
From a player standpoint, what's the first kind of symptom or first couple of symptoms that a player will experience if they maybe have a concussion to sort of alert them that I need to tell, in case none of the coaches picked it up? I mean, I need to tell my coach that I may be injured here.
Yeah. Most of it is mental fogginess kind of thing, not remember what the snap count is, what was the play they just said 2 seconds ago. Headache, some ringing in the ears are common things. Your vision's not right, or the one that everybody sees from the stand is the ones who stumble around, right? That's an easy one to pick up, and those are the most prevalent signs you see initially when somebody has something going on like that.
What is the process? Let's say a kid goes down on the field, comes off the field, and you can tell immediately there's something wrong. What is the process? How quickly do they get assessed?
If most of the schools now have an athlete trainer, and they know how to assess these, so you make sure they're okay. You clear the neck first. Anytime you suspect head injury, you got to clear the neck. Make sure there's no cervical spine type of injury.
And that means you say clear the neck. You don't move at all until you know.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And then you make sure that they don't have any neck tenderness or tingling, any of that kind of stuff going down the arms or anything. So once you clear that, then you sit them up and kind of look at their eyes. It's going to tell you a lot right away. You know, if they look dazed or their eyes are just kind of glossy. And
Because the pupils sometimes can be different sizes,
correct.
right?
And so we start testing the cranial nerves. You know, the light one's a big one for pupil reflex, you know, swallowing reflex, shrugging shoulders, you know, ringing in the ears. Can you hear it? You know, does this sound the same in each side? You know, those are the types of things that we do quick assessment on to determine whether, hey, is this a concussion or possibly a concussion or not a concussion. And then obviously get them off to the side, do a more thorough check with like a memory recall, give them 3 items to remember, come back to them in 2-3 minutes and see if they can remember those items. That's a big one. They usually fail that one a lot of times.
That's really interesting. I've never heard this explained. So that's what you do. You look at their eyes.
Eyes.
Go through them again. Swallowing,
shrugging.
You ask them if they can shrug? Is that
Yeah, you have them do a shrug.
You have them shrug. Okay.
Yep.
You ask them to swallow.
Does this sound the same in each ear? Sometimes you don't move your
Okay.
fingers. You know, you hear the rustling of your fingers in
Yeah.
one ear, or you can try to trick them and see if they're really just telling you, yeah, it sounds
Yes,
the same or
yes,
not.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're all trying to get back in the game.
Oh,
So they're trying to
absolutely.
pass these tests.
And the three things to remember. You tell them whatever. Give me an
Yeah,
example.
I usually give
need
them
an
a
example.
84, paper, and banana were my 3 I always use because
Okay.
I needed to remember what
Yeah.
numbers I was using or which items I was
Okay,
using.
so you say
so it was standard for me every time.
But that's really interesting. You say 84 paper and banana. They got to remember it. And so how long in between you ask?
I would do at least twice checking that. So I would come back maybe 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
I'm still kind of like, well, they're not too bad. Let's wait another 5 and then check.
Okay.
And then obviously you keep checking the eye, the pupil reflex, all that kind of stuff along with that.
Wow, that's really interesting. So
and then you can do. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. But
No.
then I would take it to a balance type thing. So if they seem okay with that, then we stand them up and start having them do balance. Stand on one foot. How much do they sway? Most people sway anyway. It's how bad do they sway?
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe walk on the track line was an easy thing for us. Usually you always have a track there typically. All right, stay in that line and walk for me a little bit. Those are the next advanced steps from that.
Can I tell you a funny story about balance? Want to hear a funny story about balance? When I was this is a true story. When I was a senior in high school, I was coming home from a buddy's house, probably 1 in. I was exhausted. It was just one of those days we had a baseball game, and I was just exhausted. I was all over the road. Hadn't had a drink all night. Had not even had any drinks. Just no alcohol at all. Got pulled over for anticipated DUI. And I told him, I said, I'm exhausted. I can see why you think that. He said, well, let's do field sobriety. First thing he did, he said, maybe close my eyes, touch my nose. I said, that's way too easy for me. I mean, I'm the wrong guy to have touch your nose. You kidding me? I can have all the drinks in the world. I can still do that. So I had perfect balance. What is the protocol? When we hear he's in concussion protocol, what does that mean? That kind of testing continues?
It continues, but then you clear it to make sure it's not an emergent case, like something where you think that their vitals are deteriorating where they need to go to the hospital right away for something more serious. Then you wait for them to become asymptomatic. And at that point, then they need to see their doctor and then be clear to start the return to play. And then, so what we do before season is everybody gets concussion testing on a system called Impact. So that's standard for all of our schools. So you have a baseline for what's normal for each person, right? And then they have to get to a certain percentage within that impact test when they're asymptomatic in order to actually start progressing down to return to play. So if they pass the impact test, then they usually start with like light aerobic stuff, so like ride a bike, that type of thing. They pass that, then the next day it's some running and some cutting. They do fine with that. Then it's a little bit more intense, almost like a practice without contact. And then the fourth step is a full contact drill.
Okay.
If they suffer any kind of setbacks in that process, then they go back to step 1.
All right. And you don't even get to the contact till you pass the other 3.
Correct. And then then once they are fine with the contact drill, then they have to see the doctor again to get cleared.
Right.
So it's a pretty involved process. It's pretty clear. It's set by FHSAA rules. It's called the AT-18 form that we send home with the kids, and it's pretty much self-explanatory on the form and for the doctor that they see.
Is there a test that tells you how many concussions you've had in your life?
No. You could have a CT scan, and they could possibly detect if you've had some kind of injury before to your head, but whether truly was a concussion or was that there the whole time,
Okay.
That's out of my expertise. I don't think there is, but that's what I would think would happen with stuff like that.
Can it be delayed? Can you make it through a game and not really be symptomatic and then go home, get some sleep, wake up, and then the next day be symptomatic? And if so,
Yes.
what do you do at that point?
Yes, and those are the ones you worry a little bit more about. Obviously, those could be what's called a subdural hematoma. A subdural is like a bleed inside the brain. It's a venous bleed. It's a little bit slower. Usually shows up a couple days later, and that's a medical emergency. But obviously, it depends on their vitals. If they're non-responsive, their eyes aren't moving, that kind of stuff. That's a more emergency case. But for the most part, if they come to you afterwards, a couple days later, then that's when you start worrying about that subdural bleed in the brain. And then the other kind is a epidural, which is between the skull and the brain. That's an arterial bleed. That's usually pretty fast. That's a faster symptom, and that's emergency surgery right away on those.
Final question. Equipment. Everybody's making the big deal about the Antonio Brown helmet because it doesn't pass safety protocol anymore, so everyone's trying to come up with it. Two questions, or two pieces of equipment. Mouthpieces, do they affect this at all? And what advancements have been made in helmets to make them more safe than they were in years past?
So mouth guards are certainly number one, very, very important deal to have. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a dentist-made, custom-made mouthpiece. Anything between the teeth will help deaden a blow to the jaw region, which will transfer up into the brain.
Okay.
So that little bit of a plastic cushion between the teeth helps a lot for that. And then as far as helmets, the biggest thing is, the padding and the air bladders and all that stuff in the helmets. Those are all super important. But the real thing is how well does that helmet fit your child? Okay, those are the important things. You shouldn't be able to move it around very easily. It should cover the back of the head. It shouldn't be scrunching their eyebrows over their eyes.
Yeah.
That's too tight, because that could have the reverse effect. If it's too tight, it's going to increase the load to the brain. It's got to be a well-fitted helmet and should be checked weekly to make sure that the air status and everything is working properly in the helmet. And the Antonio Brown thing, they're only going to certify it for 10 years,
right,
because you don't know how the plastic's really handling all that.
Sure.
You can change out the bladders and stuff, but I think it's more the shell, the plastic itself. They're not going to. No company is going to take on that risk longer than 10 years, so that's why that one's kind of not passing at this point, or considered not passing.
Matt Paulus from JOI. That is good stuff. I mean, I learned more today because I always wondered what protocol was and what testing. You see the testing. We don't know what they're doing. What you guys are doing. So that is great stuff. Matt, great work. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks,
Matt
guys.
Paulus from JOI every Friday in here talking about various injuries that these players go through. We'll take a break. When we come back, Pete Prisco joins us to talk NFL football on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
There's all kind of great reasons to head to Nimnik. None better than this. The summer super sale is going on right now at Nimnik Chevrolet right there on Cassett Avenue. Discounts up to $15,000. Where are you going to find savings like that to get a Chevrolet? Where in the world? Right now, head to Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett at Park for the summer super sale and discounts up to $15,000. You want specifics? Okay. Up to $15,000 off a 2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab. I'm driving the Silverado right now. Absolutely love it. Up to $9,000 off a 2019 Chevy Colorado. Up to $10,000 off a 2019 Chevy Equinox. That is part of the summer super sale going on right now at Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue at Park. Head there today and get a ride you'll love. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
I'm Greg Coleman, former Rains High Viking and Minnesota Viking.
This is Bill Polian of ESPN
on 1010XL
92.5 FM.
Come see the new showroom and new displays at the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center, located on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown. The friendly, experienced group of interior designers will help you transform your home. They specialize in kitchen design, bath design, and closet design. The Kitchen and Flooring Design Center is used by many builders, home remodelers, and assisted living communities in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll find brands like Timberlake, Doll Tile, Mohawk, Craftmade, Cambria, Legacy, and tons more. Head to floorsandkitchen.com or stop by the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center today.
Hey, folks, if you want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Fast, friendly service, clean family restaurants, and the best barbecue around. Man, oh man, is it good. Look, 15 locations in town, so it's easy to get to. You want ribs? Got them. Brunswick stew, the best you've ever had. Pulled pork, I absolutely love it. And man, I get that all dark meat chicken. It's my favorite lunch. If you want barbecue, and if you live in Jacksonville, there's one choice for you. Great barbecue? Well, that's easy. Head to Bono's for the best barbecue in town.
Golfers, are you ready to grab your clubs and head to the course? Look no further than the World Golf Village's Slammer and Squire. For a limited time, play the Slammer and Squire for only $49 until September 2nd. You heard right. Play on the Slammer and Squire golf course for only $49. Slammer and Squire has recently completed its summer maintenance. Don't miss out on this great offer. Book your tee times now at playwgv.com. That's playwgv.com.
The Truck Accident Law Firm is a national truck crash law firm based right here in Jacksonville, focused on making First Coast roads safer through zealous advocacy for families of those injured or killed by unsafe trucking. The Truck Accident Law Firm focuses exclusively on tractor trailer, bus, and commercial vehicle crashes. If someone you know is involved in a serious crash with a tractor trailer or commercial vehicle, contact your local truck crash specialists at truckcrashlaw.com. Non-attorney spokesperson.
Metro Rooter Plumbing is not gimmicky and doesn't have a cute tagline. Metro Rooter Plumbing is always professional, no exceptions. Metro Rooter Plumbing will diagnose solutions to fix wasteful, harmful, or unsafe plumbing problems. The diagnosis is free, and if you feel comfortable, they'll begin work right away. If you'd prefer to hold off, that's okay too. Metro Rooter plumbers are not high pressure, they're just good quality plumbers. Google Metro Rooter to schedule your appointment. They even offer same-day service, including Saturday and Sunday. MetroRooter.com.
What's up, Jacksonville? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. How would you like to set sail on the allure of the seas and spend 7 days in the Eastern Caribbean? Best Bet Jacksonville is giving away 12 card player cruise packages throughout the month of August. The Daily High Hand winners will receive a luxurious cruise package for two, which includes a $340 seat into the main event, plus $500 in spending cash. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Pet Paradise is a comprehensive pet care provider offering boarding, day camp, grooming, and veterinary services. Pet Paradise has state-of-the-art resorts that offer safe, clean, and fun environment for four-legged guests and peace of mind for their owners. Pet Paradise has 5 North Florida locations, including one at the Jacksonville Airport. It's open 24/7. Visit them today, petparadise.com. Pet Paradise is the official pet service provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Meet Vuse Alto, a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes with long-lasting pods filled with liquid blended in the U.S. Vuse Alto delivers our highest performing vapor yet. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Vuse, leading the way today, tomorrow, and in the future. Underage sale prohibited.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute has a new physical therapy and rehab center open in the Nocatee area. This will be the 11th facility in the North Florida region. The 2,300 square foot facility has extensive parking, custom-built amenities, a well-equipped gym area, and the same high level of care that patients have come to expect at Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Visit JOI.net for more information on the new location in Nocatee. JOI, go where the pros go.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by JEA. The Jaguars have now begun the roster cut down to 53 players. According to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, the Jags have released quarterback Alex Magoo, wide receiver Terrell Pryor, Dayton Jones, and safety C.J. Rivas. Also, according to multiple reports, the Jags have released running back Thomas Rawls, offensive lineman Josh Wells, and linebacker Ramik Wilson. The Jaguars must cut the roster down to 53 players by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned to 1010XL for the latest roster moves with the Jaguars. The Bowls high school football game against Hialeah Miami Lakes, scheduled for tonight, has been canceled due to Hurricane Dorian. Bishop Kenny Atlantic Coast kicks off at 6 o'clock tonight on 1010XL. At 4 o'clock, 81 degrees. Your time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Being prepared in a hurricane also means knowing what to do after a loss. At Anajar and Levine, we're more than just accident attorneys. Call us for help at 1-800-747-FREE.
This is Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along. Part 2 of the Big Chief Tire Friday commences with this.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On The Frangie Show.
All right, Showtime open 7 days a week for all your collecting needs, supplies, all the latest baseball and football boxes, even a collecting club for kids. We'll tell you more about that as we go. Showtime is your stop, I promise you, if you are a collector. Pete Prisco joins us now from CBSSports.com. What's up, Peter?
What's up, guys? How are you?
We are good. Here's the question going around. Here's the two sides of thinking. Clear up your thoughts, or at least give us your thoughts on this. A, don't worry about the preseason. None of the first team played at all. When the first team played, everything will be fine. That's theory A, Pete. Theory B is first team or no first team, the Jaguars are getting rolled every time twos play twos and threes play threes, so they must not be very depth, must not have much depth. So there is reason for concern. Where do you land on those two?
The first one.
Okay.
Preseason doesn't mean anything. It absolutely means nothing. Now, flaws in your depth show up at times, but the more I'm around this league and the more I talk to players and travel around and talk to coaches, the more I'm convinced that you get nothing out of the preseason. Nothing. And by that I mean you can get out of training camp and you can get out of workouts with teams, but the actual games, the preseason games, they mean absolutely nothing. So if anybody in Jacksonville is panicking right now, don't.
Pete, what do you think of Josh Allen and his play, and also Todd Wash revealing that he's a guy that they're going to have on the field a lot this year with his versatility in the 3-4 look?
Well, the second part of your question, Hayes, I think is actually a really good one because I think that's the smart thing to do. A lot of times these coaches in this league pigeonhole themselves into saying, I'm going to fit those guys into what I want to do. And Todd Wash is smart enough, whether it's from above or maybe Dom Capers' influence, to realize I have two guys who can rush the passer, and they both need to be on the field. And so from that standpoint, I think it's smart. I love what I've seen from the kid. I thought they stole him in the draft when they got him, and I think he might end up being – in fact, I had to pick something today. I picked him to be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to be a force off the edge.
Defensive coordinator Todd Wash also said, Pete, that Jalen Ramsey will travel with Tyreek Hill of the Chiefs when Week 1 begins. Is that the most exciting matchup of the first week of NFL action?
I can't wait to watch that defense against that offense. And I was just in Kansas City. I spent time with Mahomes, and we talked about, I said, can he get 60? And he said no, and kind of pushed back on it. But that offense is going to be explosive. But when you play that offense against that defense, and I think the defense is going to be special this year again in Jacksonville. I really do. I think it's going to take the steps that it missed on taking last year. When you talk about Ramsey travel, and I've talked to Jalen about that in the past, he wants to be able to travel. They won't do it all the time, but the fact that they're going to do it some of the time, that's interesting. One side note to that, though, in talking to corners over the years, and guys like Patrick Peterson and bigger corners, one of the things that they said is the smaller, shifty guys give them a little bit more trouble than maybe the taller linear receiver. So that'll be interesting to see how Jalen does handle the smaller, shiftier wide receiver.
Yeah, that's a really good point because Jalen looks like he matches up well with Julio Jones and A.J. Green, the guys that are built like he's built. But Hill's a smaller, quicker. That's a really good point. So it'll be fun to watch those. I want to go back to something at the top again. The depth thing. I get your point, and I don't disagree with you. What matters is what happens when the ones play the ones. But Gardner Minshew is going to be the backup, it would appear, Pete, unless they go out and find a veteran, and we don't know that. The team really struggled with him leading him. Never led a touchdown drive in all 4 of those preseason games. Now, he didn't have very good players around him, but is that a concern at backup quarterback when some other teams have gone out and gotten veterans like Kansas City among them? Is that a concern, do you think?
could be, but again, I'm always a big believer in if you get to that guy for any more than 1 or 2 games, you're in trouble anyway.
Right.
And you're right, Kansas City had Henne and went out and got Matt Moore. But if Mahomes is missing 8 games, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. No matter what Matt Moore or Chad Henne could do, they're not going to be a playoff team. So if you can get by with 1 or 2 games, and I think we've seen in the history of that franchise, they've managed 1 or 2 games with guys and actually bad quarterbacks who had success playing 1 or 2 games. So I'm not so much concerned with that. If it's the long haul, they're dead. If it's 1 or 2 games, I think they'll be okay.
Pete, we've had time to process Andrew Luck. What happens with the Indianapolis Colts in light of his retirement?
You know, they're building to something. They haven't built it yet, and I don't think they're there yet. His ability to rise above and bring everybody's level of play up is going to be sorely missed. I mean, a great quarterback cures your ills, a bad one exposes them. Now, I'm not saying Brissett's a bad quarterback, but he's not Andrew Luck. So I think all the flaws that they've had on their team that were kind of covered up by Luck's ability to make plays will probably be exposed a little bit more. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I've had so many people say, "Oh, Jacoby Brissett's going to be a star." Well, maybe he will be, but this is a big transition for him. The first time he played, it wasn't fair to him. He just got there. The team was a mess. He'll be better, but he isn't Andrew Luck, so I don't think the Colts will be a playoff team.
And that's certainly good news for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was really surprised that the Dolphins named Ryan Fitzpatrick their starting quarterback after watching that game and watching both Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen play against the Jaguars last week. Wouldn't you have started Rosen?
I would have started Rosen, but I understand where Flores is coming from. He's a first-time head coach, and every first-time head coach thinks they have to win games. And they think the way to win games is to play the guy that they feel gives them the best opportunity to win games. And if he feels that that's Fitzpatrick for the short term, then he's going to play him. For the long term, to find out what you have in Rosen is probably the right move to make. And we can all sit here and say that. But as a coach and a competitor, he wants to be able to win games. That's why Fitzpatrick's starting.
Pete Prisco, let's talk in NFL football. It's from CBSSports.com. It is brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. So what happens with the Clowney thing? Is it Clowney for Tunsil plus a pick? Is that going to happen, Pete? Does Clowney landing back on the Texans? Or are they going to rescind the franchise tag? How do you see this thing playing out?
They don't like him. I mean, for whatever reason, and I was with the Texans in Green Bay a couple weeks ago, and they just don't think he's a put his hand on the ground and go win off the edge. He's a violent player. He's a really good run player. You can line him up inside and team him up to get sacks. But if you're going to pay him that big, giant money, you got to be able to put your hand on the ground and go beat a tackle up the field. And they don't think he can consistently do that. There's also some bad blood from Bill O'Brien early in his career. He wasn't the hardest worker in the world. He kind of, you know how those Patriot coaches, ex-Patriot coaches can be, they hold grudges. So I don't think the Texans like him. I think ideally they'd like to peddle him. If they could get Tunsil, that'd be great for them. But I don't think the Dolphins are going to give him Tunsil unless they come off the hip for a first-round pick and another pick and Clowney. And if the Texans do that, they're dumb. I wouldn't do that.
How many games do you think Ezekiel Elliott will miss before he and the Cowboys get this done?
I say none. I think he's going to get it done. And the reason I say that, it's pretty easy negotiation. He wants to be paid more than Todd Gurley, but that contract is an outlier now. It's not going to get to there. You look at Bell's contract, I think he's at 13-1 or 13-2. Gurley's at 14-something. Meet in the middle. Give him, 13-9 and get in there. Remember, he's got 2 years left on that deal. The Cowboys are actually doing him a favor by tearing that thing up and giving him a new contract. He'd be real misguided if he leaves that type of money on the table just for another, to say I'm the highest paid running back in the league.
Yeah, I think that's a bit silly. I think even second highest paid would be fine for me. When it comes to the Jaguars, how do you think Taven Bryan has played this preseason?
Not great, but again, I don't. Preseason for me is tough to evaluate. One thing about that kid, he's got to learn how to disengage and get off, because even when he penetrates, and there are times when you see him penetrate, he doesn't know how to make the play. It's almost like the back goes zipping right by him. He's not football aware, and that to me is the biggest concern with him, is he's not football aware.
Can you get that, Pete? Or if you don't have that, you don't have that.
Yeah, that's tough to get. That to me, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm very concerned about that whether he will ever get that. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just one of those kids that never really understood the game. He just made, there's always guys that have gotten by in high school and even in college with just their pure ability to make plays. When you get to the NFL, you got to be aware. You got to understand the technique. You got to know how to shed a guy. You got to know how to, identify where the runner's going. And who knows? Maybe it'll go on someday, but so far it hasn't.
All right, Pete, the Hayes in the Barn now, and we'll certainly focus on this next Thursday, or next Friday, rather, when we have you, when they're 2 days away from the Chiefs game. But the Hayes in the Barn, this is pretty much their team. They could pick up a veteran here or there. You've really liked this team. You've picked them to win the division. That's even before we had any of the Lamar Miller or Luck news. Anything changed for you? Do you still 10-11 win that kind of season for Jacksonville, do you think?
I agree. Yes, absolutely. I haven't changed that one bit. I think they're going to be so good on defense. And I go back to that Colts game last year. They wanted to play, they played. And that was a hot Colts team. They shut them out. And I think you're going to see a lot of that this year. Not a lot of shutouts, but they're going to be dominant on the defensive side of the ball. The defense this year will be better than the defense in 2017. The offense will be much better. I think Foles is better than Bortles. I think you see the creativity with Fournette getting him outside in the passing game and not letting him take handoffs just 8 yards deep and picking and choosing to allow him to get some runs near the line of scrimmage. He'll be better. And I think Westbrook's in for a big year. So, yeah, I add it all up, and I think this team is better than in 17. That's not saying they're going to get there, but they have the potential to get there.
Pete, you said you picked Josh Allen for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who did you pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Kyler Murray. Because
Really?
I think he's going to get a ton of reps. He's going to get a ton of flash plays. He's going to get, so it's going to be a pretty easy pick for me. I think he's clearly going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
All right. Arizona State, big, gigantic win last night. Is that the first of 12, Pete? Give me answers. I need answers on this program.
Well, they play 2 cupcakes to start the season, then they go to Michigan State and play Michigan State. They'll probably get beat like 9-7 or something. Knowing them, the funny thing is one of the guys from Undouble Source or something tweets out this thing saying the punter averaged 65 yards a punt on like his 5 punts. It's like an NCAA record or something. He said it was great in flipping the field. I said, if you got to worry about flipping the field against Kent State, you got problems, okay?
I just thought Arizona State won. I said, you know what? This is good in the Prisco family. Did you have the jersey on when you were watching, mate?
No. Did you have the jersey on last week when you were watching Florida struggle through that crappy game against Miami?
No, but if I had, I would have burned it. Just so you know, if I had, I would have gotten rid of it. All right, so
Who, by the way, Frank, who thinks Felipe Frank could be a first-round pick? Who said that?
Well, here's what I said. I think he could be not drafted at all, or before last week I said he could rise right up the list and be drafted very high because he's 6'6" and 240. After watching him last week, I'm going back to middle of the pack, if at all. But the reason, Pete, this is Paxton Lynch, maybe, right? If the light went on,
but he's
not so sure
good,
anymore.
Though.
No,
he's not good.
Yeah, we
and
had
by
forgotten.
The way, I wish I would have seen you when they threw with 4 minutes to go.
Oh, you would have. Oh, Pete, everything you're envisioning is correct. Okay, what in the world, bro? Are you kidding me? So
And you know what's great watching the game, though? And you guys will appreciate this. I stopped it for a second, and I said to my wife, I said, let's see if Kirk Herbstreit goes all in on the coaches. He didn't go all in on the coaches. He went all in on the player for celebrating.
Yeah, I know he did. You're exactly
That's
right.
Gosh, I would have blistered. And then in the post-game interview, they didn't even reference that with your coach there. What's his name?
Mullen.
They didn't even reference it.
It's all about the player.
He's way too happy.
He's a happy guy. Hey, are you safe down there? What's the word for you guys down there, Pete?
Yeah, look, a bunch of our offices is, relocated to Connecticut for the next. I'm staying because I've been on the road for 6 weeks, and as of right now, it looks like it's tilting a little north. So we might be okay. I actually got a hotel room way down south. It's like Dadeland down in Homestead if I have to go.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it might come up by you guys, actually.
Yeah, that's what we think. We don't. It's hard to tell, but yeah, we have a chance at that. I know you know by now they moved the FSU game, so that was a big deal up here. So we'll see.
Well, all we need is just everybody in this whole damn state and this whole country to be safe this weekend. That's what we need.
That's exactly.
Make it through, and then we get the football season and get on with our routine. We're all routine guys, right, Frank? We're creatures of habit. We want our routine.
Especially we old guys. We're even more routine, so you're exactly right about that. Hey, stay safe down there, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com. As always, brought to you by our friends at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. I told you, they got a collecting club for kids. So if kids want to get involved in all the fun you've had collecting all these years, or let your kid get involved. They've got a club. They do a terrific, terrific job. And by the way, the rookies of all your favorite Jags are available now. Jalen Ramsey, D.D. Westbrook is not a rookie, but a young player. Jalen Ramsey, D.D. Westbrook, Calais Campbell, plus all the rookies, all available. You really want to get to Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles, located on Phillips Highway at Shad Road. Nobody does a better job. They are available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll learn more about Showtime if you head out that way. Thanks to Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles for always sponsoring the Prisco Report. More in a moment on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the Best Bet Card Rooms at Jacksonville and Orange Park.
I think this is Georgia's year. It's purely speculation. A lot of people know more about college football than I do, but don't think my knowledge isn't well above average. It isn't a crazy guess. All the experts have Georgia number 3 behind Clemson and Alabama. Why not the Bulldogs? They've recruited at the same level as those two in recent years. They have their own star quarterback in Jake Fromm. They also have the hardest thing to get, a really good offensive line. Is there a better running back than DeAndre Swift? Their receivers are improving, but all were recruiting gems. A couple will emerge. Their defense is top-notch, and Rodrigo Blankenship may be the best place kicker. The key for Georgia is Coach Kirby Smart. He has to take the next step to become a national championship coach, know when to do the unexpected.
Check out Uncle Dave's column at 1010XL.com on the homepage. Look for Lamb at Large.
Fall and football create the best season of the year, and I have almost everything I need to root for my favorite team. All I'm missing is the ultimate game day meal. Luckily, Publix, the official supermarket of the Jaguars, is bringing back the Jaguar sub, but just for a limited time. You will love the Publix deli hot chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, sweet coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. And so I don't miss the kickoff, I can place my order online for in-store pickup. Go to Publix.com/JagSub to get your Jaguars sub today. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
If you're facing surgery or taking medications for erectile dysfunction, there is an alternative solution, Core Wave Therapy. This is Dr. West, board-certified urologist with the McKeever Clinic. With Core Wave Therapy, you'll experience an ED solution with many benefits over traditional therapies such as surgery or pills. The procedures are short, painless, and have no downtime.
Call 355-6583 or visit McKeeverClinic.com. That's MCIVER. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urological care since 1921.
In celebration of our all-new showroom off Town Center Parkway, Diamonds Direct announces our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase. Starting this Saturday, you can get the Diamonds Direct unbeatable value price on any item. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. You can even finance the tax. This amazing offer starts this Saturday at the all-new Diamonds Direct showroom off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt behind Firebirds. On approved credit.
The NFL season is about to kick off. Know what that means? It's time to bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie has more odds and more prop bets than any other sports book, and absolutely nobody pays out faster. You get your cash when you want it. Sign up now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. That's up to $1,000 in free money to bet your favorite teams. Want more? How about $100,000 more? You win MyBookie's first ever NFL handicapping super contest, and $100,000 is all yours. Don't play on some no-name sports book. Bet with the best at MyBookie.ag. Use promo code RADIO to get your exclusive double your money offer today. That's promo code RADIO. Play, win, and get paid at MyBookie.
When was the last time you looked forward to mowing the lawn? I know fighting that old mower in the summer heat is not your idea of a good time, but it can be with a Gravely Zero Turn, because Gravely's been taking the hard work out of yard work for over 100 years. With the fast and reliable Gravely ZT HD, you can take back your weekends. Come see the full line of Gravely mowers and job site vehicles at Tools for a Time, and take advantage of 0% financing for 48 months with approved credit. Find us online at toolsforatime.com. That's toolsforatime.com.
This Labor Day, keep your summer going at your local Chevy dealer. Well-qualified buyers get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $2,000 cash allowance on all 2019 Silverado double cab pickups when you finance with GM Financial. And during the Labor Day sales event, make no monthly payments for 90 days. That's 90 more days of fun with the family, 90 more days of spontaneous road trips with friends, and 90 more days without monthly payments on your brand new Chevy. This is your chance to ride out the summer in a new Chevrolet. So where will you drive to first? Hurry in the Chevy Labor Day sales event in September 3rd. See your Southern Chevy dealers. Monthly payment is $13.89 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 7.6%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers will now qualify. Down payment required at signing if applicable. Not available in PA unless combined with a 0% APR. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/3/19. See dealer for details.
Here's a quick tip from your fast file bankruptcy expert, Don Dufresne with the law offices of Parker & Dufresne. This is attorney Don Dufresne. Did you know that a 720 credit score can save you hundreds if you're financing purchases? Before buying a house, car, or any other large investment, think about your credit score. Often you can gain 10 to 20 points by making simple adjustments. For more quick tips, visit jackslawcenter.com. Relief, restore, renew. Parker & Dufresne. Offices, Jacksonville.
Experience the freedom of the great outdoors.
You're going to be happy.
The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz.
Now we cook them a peanut oil.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Being prepared in a hurricane also means knowing what to do after a loss. At Anajar and Levine, we're more than just accident attorneys. Call us for help at 1-800-747-FREE.
Starting the weekend with football. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night on 1010XL.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. It is a Big Chief Tire Friday. And always football on a Friday. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, Hayes, have announced some cuts. That would be running back Thomas Rawls, defensive end Dayton Jones, offensive lineman Josh Wells, linebacker Ramik Wilson, and linebacker Davis Tull. Now, the first four were released. Davis Tull was waived via injury or released via injury settlement. Of those, I'm going to guess that Dayton Jones surprises you the most.
Yeah, I was stunned by it. I don't understand it. I thought Dayton Jones had a outstanding showing in the preseason, and I thought there was room for Dayton Jones and DeJuan Smoot. I think it sacrificed, at least on mine, it was Eli Ankou who became the odd man out.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that Dayton Jones showed enough to be on it. I'm surprised by Thomas Rawls. That one surprised me as well. So, it'll be interesting to see the 53 tomorrow when we get it. But yeah, these guys are being released now. They're vested veterans, so they can sign with another club immediately. So it sort of gives them a jump start on the market. So it is good of the Jaguars to let them loose now. With the younger guys, the guys that will be subjected to waivers, there is no advantage for them. They'll just process Saturday at 4. So we have seen some reports of guys that are going to be subject to waivers that are going to be released. But again, they don't have to officially announce that until 4. And they have changed their mind before. They were going to cut Tyler Shatley a number of years ago. They got some teams that reached out and said, hey, what'd you like about Tyler Shatley? What kind of kid is he? And they're like, we're going to actually now keep Tyler Shatley because I think they were hoping to possibly get him back on the practice squad. This was like the first year they had him.
He's actually not a good football player, but no, he's no good.
What surprised you the most? What kind of surprised you?
Dayton Jones. I don't get that one at all. I would have definitely kept Dayton Jones.
And we thought that he was safe when he tweeted out Duval earlier.
Yeah, we did
this
too,
week.
and maybe he did too.
Yeah.
So
it's surprising. Again, it's a report. They haven't confirmed that they won't confirm any of this until 4 on Saturday. But I'd be if CJ Revis is cut. That would surprise me. I mean, I thought he was one of the highlights of the preseason opener against Baltimore, and he did release that video we talked about in the locker room. I don't know if maybe that put him in the doghouse.
Right.
Lageman and Baselli thought that Wingard was ahead of him. They told me last night on the broadcast they thought
Wingard was ahead of Revis.
Yes,
Really? That shocks me.
They both told me they thought Wingard was ahead of Revis. So that was during the broadcast. So
That's one where they could pick up a guy waivers on Sunday, and it really won't matter who made it because it's going to be eliminated anyway.
Here's my question with Dayton,
which is always so sad.
With Dayton Jones, it comes down if he's an end, if he's an end. They say he can play inside. Well, they had to evaluate, can he be a 3 technique? If he's an end, I'm not surprised he's cut. That people make a big deal about the cut, and he was a cool guy, and he really is a neat guy, and he made some plays in the preseason. The fact that he was in the game so late last night was an indicator that he may not be on the team. But realistically, if Ngakoue and Calais are their starting ends, Josh Allen is their next end based on what they do with 3-4 or whatnot, Smoot's the end is their 4th end, McCray is probably their 5th end. If he's your 6th best end, I'm not surprised he's cut. He was a cool name to have around, and I am surprised because I thought he might could play that 3 technique too. That was all the conversation. He played inside and outside. So when I first saw it, it surprised me because we all thought when he tweeted the other day. But the more I think about it, it doesn't shock me as much. The question is, could he play the 3 technique? The backup 3 technique is a concern because right now they're starting Avery Jones at the nose and Marcel Darius at the 3 technique, even though he's probably more of a nose. The backup 3 technique is Taven Bryan, who hadn't played very well. So that's why, to me, are they going out to get another guy to play there? I think the conventional thinking was either Eli Ankou or Dontavius Russell, both are nose guards. One would be the backup to Avery Jones. The other wouldn't make the team. Now I'm wondering if they both make the team and one of them gets trained to be the 3 technique. And I'm not smart enough to know what skills you have to be that. It just looks like he's not as big a guy, right? But it's obviously there's more to it than that. So 3 technique is the issue to me, not end. And if Dayton Jones got cut, Hayes, that tells me they don't think he could play in there. Don't you get that read on it?
I guess, but I think I would have liked to have seen it, and I'm surprised. I would have kept him, and we'll see where it goes.
You surprised by Rawls?
Yes.
Rawls surprised me a little bit. But again, when he came back into the game after Elijah Hood had the long run, he needed a blow. Rawls came back into the game. You come back into the game in preseason game number 4 with 4 minutes to play, you're in trouble. That's an indicator. Usually, that's an indicator.
And we haven't seen practice for a while, so I mean, again, we do see a lot. The practices were open up until the Philadelphia game. So you feel like you saw a lot. But obviously, we haven't been watching practice, so we're getting everything now from what we're seeing in the preseason. So I understand that we're not seeing the full picture, but I mean, there's a part of me that wonders, did they draw these names out of a hat? Because some of them are really surprising to me. But maybe some of these players that I thought should be on the team, maybe they had a bad last 2 weeks, and while they may have done something in the game, there wasn't enough in practice for them to stay.
Because running back is interesting. Running back is Fournette's your starter. You would think Blue's your backup, but he's been down. Rock Armstead looks like a good player, so he might be the backup. But those 3 are on the team, you would think. That's it. Now, unless Mays has not been cut yet that we know of. Elijah Hood has barely played, but looked good last night now. I mean, again, he barely played. Who knows what he's done in practice? When we saw him in the game last night, he looked pretty good. Could he be a surprise 4th running back? Right, he could be. Right, even though we haven't seen him very often, it's conceivable.
Sure, he certainly could be. I think I saw more out of Devontae Mays in training camp practices than I have in the preseason. The Ravens released defensive tackle Willie Henry, who has started some games for them, so maybe that's a guy that the Jaguars say, oh, that's a guy we need to add to our roster immediately.
If you look at spots, a backup 3 technique, I think, is significant. So again, right now you're starting the season presumably with Avery Jones in your nose and Marcel Darius, who's a more natural nose, playing 3 technique. Okay, so that's how you're starting your season. Your backup 3 technique is Taven Bryan, who hasn't been very good to our eyes in the preseason. So that spot's got to be a concern. And again, I thought Dayton Jones would make the team because I thought he'd slide in there. Maybe they think he's an end, not a tackle. We'll see. So I think picking up someone, Lauren, to your point, that's a spot that you've got to think they're going to consider. You got to believe a 3rd or 4th running back. If Rawls is gone, Cunningham's gone a week or so ago. Those were the 2 veterans I thought one of those would be the 4th guy. They're gone, so you got to think about that. I do wonder about linebacker. Is there a linebacker of note?
Brandon Marshall?
Yeah,
wants to return maybe to the 904?
That's what everybody's saying. I'd like to know why he got cut, though. Certainly he's a guy that was
Wait
here.
for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I guess. So linebacker of thought. What's your guess on Charles Jones versus Koyak? Koyak didn't play last night, which would indicate he's on the team. Charles Jones did play. I don't think you keep a fifth guy there. So assuming it's Swaim, Oliver, who knows when he's going to be ready, O'Shaughnessy's on the team. I thought the fourth guy would be a battle between Koyak and Charles Jones. What's your read there?
Well, I thought it would be Koyak, so it's going to be Charles Jones, based on what we're seeing today. But yeah, it's a tough call. But I think Charles Jones is a rookie, missed some time. Koyak has, they have cut him in the past. But again, I always go back to this is a player they felt good enough about at one point in time to throw him a pass to win a playoff game.
Yeah, I think he's on the team. I agree with you. Could you hide Charles Jones on the practice squad?
Yes.
Everybody's
the only team that doesn't have tight ends is this team.
Yeah, so I agree with you. An undrafted guy, you could hide him on the practice squad, which I think is what's going to wind up happening. What are your surprises, Lauren, of the cuts we know so far?
I think, like Hayes said, C.J. Rivas. I'm not surprised that Terrell Pryor was cut. I thought that he would be in favor of a receiver that can be more of a special teams person.
And he needed to play.
And right.
Yeah, that whole the best ability is availability comes into play there for
exactly.
sure.
So I think, overall, and then we found out that linebacker Jake Ryan, who we've been excited to see, but Doug Marrone said a few weeks ago has had a setback. He had the torn ACL when he played for the Packers. He was placed on the reserve/non-football injury list, and so that means that he's basically on PUP. He cannot play the first 6 weeks of the first 6 games, and then we shall see what happens after that. But unfortunate that he hasn't had a lick of practice with this Jaguars team.
It's going to be interesting to see. I am curious if they're kicking the tires on a backup quarterback. I haven't heard anything. My expectations are that they are not. My expectations are that they'll feel like when Gardner Minshew, if he has to play, will be playing with starters, will be an entirely different player, and at least the offense will be much better than it has been. But I would be surprised if they're not at least glancing closely at the waiver wire. I know you always glance closely at the waiver wire, but I would be surprised if I think in a perfect world he doesn't play last night. I think in a perfect world they know they've got their two quarterbacks and they sit them both out, which is what most of the teams have done. Most of the quarterbacks who played last night or played this weekend, the majority of them are not the backup or the starter, right? At least some of those. So.
Right, and I think it's a glaring weakness that Alex Magoo has scored 2 touchdowns for the Jaguars, and Gardner Minshew has only led this team to 3 points.
Yeah, and it's a different game a little bit. He's playing a game against non-NFL players, so a little bit of that street ball matters a bit. But I hear you. And I don't think Magoo should be on the team either. I like he's a fun as heck guy to watch. And maybe in the league one day, great athlete. He's fun as hell to watch now. I mean, he's scrambling all over the place in a lot of fun. So, but we'll see. Let's take a break. We got 1 segment to go. We're going to be taking it to the streets, all that and more when we continue on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Catch high school football play-by-play on 1010XL.
This is Coach Kraus from the Bishop Kenny Crusaders. This Friday is our first road game of the season at Atlantic Coast High School. Catch the play-by-play live at 6 on 92.5 FM.
You've heard Frank and I talk about all-purpose staffing for a couple of months now, but did you know that all-purpose staffing takes care of all types of companies? That's right, warehouses, roofing, landscaping, construction, apartment complexes, and country club maintenance. All-purpose staffing helps both small and large companies. Let all-purpose staffing handle your payroll-related costs, including workman's comp and year-end reporting. If your company hires any temporary personnel, all-purpose staffing will make that process so much easier. Call All-Purpose Staffing today at 219-1515. That's 219-1515.
Frank Frangie here for Center State Bank, Florida's business bank, but also a bank you could trust. You see, that's the big thing. I've got to trust my bankers. Trust that they are truly skilled bankers, but also that my needs matter. My bankers at Center State Bank know me. They know what I need. Whether it's personal, business, loans, or beyond, they know me and I trust them. In the world of banking, that relationship really matters. A bank you can trust. Center State Bank, with 7 locations in Jacksonville and St. Augustine, Florida's business bank.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer GainsWave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. GainsWave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the GainsWave ED treatment today.
Florida, welcome to Save Yourself with Geico.
You say goodbye to somebody.
Okay, bye.
But then, unfortunately, you both walk in the same direction. You couldn't save yourself from the thick stew of awkward this situation delivers. But you could save yourself hundreds by switching your car insurance to Geico.
Yes.
You could save on motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance, too.
Nice.
Plus, the Geico Insurance Agency could help you save on renter's insurance. While your choice of walking direction has become your biggest problem, you should know Geico is the largest auto insurer in the state.
Okay.
Geico even offers 24/7 access to licensed agents and emergency roadside service.
So, weather.
Ah, and now you're resorting to local weather talk. Speaking of, your local Geico agent could help you save even more, like with federal and military discounts.
You couldn't save yourself from a goodbye, oh, hello situation, but you could save yourself hundreds with Geico online, over the phone, or at your local office.
Get inside the Gators with the Florida Gator Report with Lauren Brooks.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
A big win for the Florida Gators.
Get your Gators on 1010XL.
In celebration of our all-new showroom off Town Center Parkway, Diamonds Direct announces our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase. Starting this Saturday, you can get the Diamonds Direct unbeatable value price on any item. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. You can even finance the tax. This amazing offer starts this Saturday at the all-new Diamonds Direct showroom off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt behind Firebirds. On approved credit.
I'm Glenn Levine with the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you've suffered damage as a result of the hurricane, you need to make sure that you notify your insurance company as soon as possible. After you've made sure that your family is safe, you have an obligation to mitigate any damages. That means you need to take steps necessary to prevent additional damage from taking place. If you've suffered a loss, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Summer of Jeep. We're having the sale of the summer, and we will not be undersold. So if you ever wanted a new Jeep, Adventure is calling, and the deals are hot. Hurry into Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Drive home or to the beach in a new Cherokee, starting from just $239 a month. Choose from the absolute best selection and save up to $6,000 off MSRP. Get a new Gladiator from as little as $329 a month. Drive a new Grand Cherokee from just $269. You save up to $3,000. For a limited time, get 0% for 72 months. Bring us your trade. We'll pay more for it even if you don't buy from us. Hit the road in a new Renegade from $199 a month or save up to $4,000. See our inventory at jaxcjd.com. Catch the wave and come in for a test drive today. Choose from the best selection and get a better deal at Jacksonville, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Being prepared in a hurricane also means knowing what to do after a loss. At Anajar and Levine, we're more than just accident attorneys. Call us for help at 1-800-747-FREE.
4 hours of nothing but football. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation Football Friday night on 1010XL.
Hey, we're glad you're with us as we continue along. Carline and Brooks, JJ in here for this final segment for us. And now a little something we call Taking It to the Streets, brought to you by JOI. Here's Lauren Rue.
This week on Taking It to the Streets with JOI, I'm joined by Lindsay Leyendecker from the Jacksonville Humane Society. Lindsay is the Senior Manager of Education and Outreach. Lindsay, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Tell us about Toast to the Animals and the connection you all have with JOI.
Well, JOI is one of our wonderful sponsors for Toast to the Animals. So they help us make this event possible. Toast to the Animals is our annual fundraiser. It's held downtown at TIAA Bank, and it's hosted by Dave Caldwell, the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with help from JOI, we're able to put on this event and raise funds for animals in need. It is a medical fund, so I think that's great. You know, I know JOI, part of their slogan is providing compassionate care for people, and we do the same thing at JHS. So it's a great tie-in, and it's a really fun event. You can purchase tickets online on our website, jackshumane.org/toast. All the information is right there on the website. It is open to the public. We have a special VIP hour in the Jaguars owner suite as well, if that interests anyone. There's a lot of great things, especially for Jaguars fans. We have a lot of great auction items. It's hosted by Curtis Dvorak, so it's a lot of fun for everyone.
If folks can't make it.
Well done, Lauren Rue.
All right, we do appreciate it. That is taking it to the streets. Now, we will start our six-pack of picks next week. So the picks contest doesn't begin until next week.
I had some doozies for you.
Well, here, but here's what's
almost as good as
Yeah.
Florida 30, Miami nothing.
Well, you're one step ahead of me. Even though we don't start till next week, we've pretty much got you 0-1. Okay, we're not 1-0.
I think that's fair.
We just got you 0-1, and you would have picked Auburn over Wisconsin. So here's what's going to happen in the event that
South Florida over Wisconsin.
I still got the game wrong. I mean Auburn over Oregon. So in the event that Auburn wins, you get no credit. But if Oregon wins, I'm going to count you 0-2.
Now that seems unfair.
Have you met him?
So yeah, good
It's
point.
always-
So joking aside, we're not going to do our picks until next week. We'll do it in the before Gibby leaves.
There's not enough good games.
You want my other upset special?
Yeah, but I do want to go through some of the games.
Okay.
Again, these aren't official. This is the preseason. Okay, but what are they?
Well, the other one I like is I like Toledo to upset Kentucky.
Okay, do you really?
Really?
Okay, how about that? Toledo.
What does Toledo have? Yeah.
I just like Toledo.
That may be the best analysis I've ever heard.
I like their coach, Candle, and I thought that I picked them to upset Miami last year, and they didn't do that, but they played them tight.
They did.
They played them in a four-quarter game, and I just have a feeling Kentucky. Maybe it's just they've just been lousy my entire life, so I just feel like winning 10 last year, losing Josh Allen, Benny Snell, Edwards, the safety. I think they're going to really come back down to earth. So, I like Toledo.
Yeah,
I like Toledo over Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on Kentucky. I don't think they're going to lose to Toledo, but I have no idea. But I hear you. But I like the pick. I think Kentucky is not going back to being your grandfather's Kentucky anymore. I think Mark Stoops has turned a corner there. But having said that, I don't think it's a 9 or 10 win every year corner. I think they will become what South Carolina is when they're good, which is 8 or 9 wins when they're good, 6 or 7 when they're bad. But I don't think the 4 and 8 Kentuckys are coming back. I think he's got enough good players there now. There's enough parity. I think he's a good coach. So I'm more nervous about Florida's trip there than I think you probably are. I'm nervous about that, and we'll be watching that together in Houston, and I will yell at you. Okay, just so we're clear. So we can be clear about that in the event that one gets a little sticky.
Speaking of picks, our very first Saturday Morning Rush airs tomorrow morning, 11:30 on the CW17, and we make our official picks on that show.
Yeah, and so we didn't count them last year. We're gonna keep track this year. Unless I fall way behind.
Okay. Again, Hayes, not always fair.
Okay. And then we'll quit counting them.
Okay.
So,
the best part is we didn't count, yet somehow I declared myself the winner.
That was the best part. And you know what? I kind of came with you on that.
Yeah.
So,
you did.
But it is.
No resistance here.
Yes, it's the Saturday Morning Rush. Hayes, Lauren, and I on CW17, a show that 1010XL produces here. We talk college football every Saturday morning, and we're proud to do that. We're excited about that. And so if you want to watch a little kid, get ready for the Knowles tomorrow at noon, and you're going to be watching that. If you have your TV on, turn it to CW17 at 11:30. Again, Hayes, Lauren, and I have a lot of fun with that show. So that'll be coming up tomorrow. Let's talk some other college football. We got this final segment here to do so. You do think Oregon beats Oregon? You think Auburn beats Oregon?
I do. Just because I think Auburn's defensive front, is going to overwhelm Oregon. So even though Oregon's got Herbert, and Auburn will be starting a brand new quarterback. I like the Tigers in this one.
Yeah, I like Oregon because for that reason. I think one of the better 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country versus a new quarterback is a tough challenge. You liked Oregon too, I think.
Oregon as well. Yep.
Yeah,
Justin Herbert is going to be probably the number 1 pick overall in the NFL draft next year. I guess Tua could get number 1, but either way, one of the top picks in the NFL. I think he knows the pressure that he's under, but yet he is going to be a guy that is able to play through that, and I think he's going to have a really good season.
Do you guys think FSU rolls Boise?
No.
I think we all like FSU in the game. Get a score, top of your head.
I'll say Florida State 27, Boise State 13.
Yeah, me too. 31-17, 31-16. You think closer, huh?
I do, yeah. I would say more like FSU 28, Boise State 24.
And you were, and again, I said 27-20 on Florida Miami, but I didn't really have the game picked. I had 27-13, 27-10. Miami scores a few by the ways. I didn't have a fourth quarter game that came down to the last minute. You did, Lauren. Lauren said that thing's coming down to the last minute, and it did. So I really didn't see that with that game.
For me, it was just because Miami was so talented defensively, and we still don't have, or I still didn't have that much faith in Felipe Franks. I still think he's going to play much better than he did against Miami for the rest of the season. But I didn't have faith yet to be able to believe it. And Miami proved that they knew what they were doing when they picked Jaron Williams, the redshirt freshman, to start at quarterback.
It was interesting. Mullen talking this week, and now he's defending his play calling, which coaches tend to do. But he talked about two plays that were interesting. Two of the turnovers. Talked about both fumbles. He said just two fumbles.
Yeah, two fumbles, two picks.
Right. He talked about the two fumbles. He said on the one, the first one at the 8-yard line, he said if Piron doesn't grab the ball, Felipe pulls it out of there, it's a touchdown. They said he threw a slant to Grimes. Now I don't remember I remember the fumble. I don't know if was there a TV view of a you would.
There's a bunch of screenshots where you can kind of see
that he was
Grimes,
open.
Yeah.
He said,
but I don't think they made a big deal about it in the broadcast.
No, they didn't. So Mullen went back and said it's a touchdown, and I believe him on that one. He also said if Malik Davis doesn't fumble the pitch, that's a touchdown. I don't think that. I think it was blocked, so I think it's a 12-yard gain. But we don't have access to the cut-ups that he had, but it didn't look like it was necessarily a touchdown. I do think it was a gain. I'll tell you another play that was a big that speed option, that kind of reverse speed option they run. The one to Davis would have been a big gainer. I agree with him. The other one the only other time they ran it to P. Ryan going the other way, and Forsyth jumped. Do you remember that play?
Mm-hmm.
He's still running on that one. That one. So I do believe if you can get crazy things foul you up, a touchdown to Grimes doesn't happen because you fumble the fake. The big gainer to Davis doesn't happen because Davis drops it. Well, have all that happen and still win the game. That's kind of the idea.
Certainly. And by the way, Gibby had to go because he is calling Bishop Kenny tonight. Bishop Kenny will be on both stations starting at 7 o'clock. It is Bishop Kenny at Atlantic Coast. But Bishop Kenny will start on 10:10 a.m. because you will hear Into the Night with Rick Ballou from 5 to 7 on 92.5 FM.
Joe Ross checks in from the Orange Park Kennel Club. Hello, Joe.
Good afternoon, guys. And before I forget, how can we forget? I want everybody to be safe out there.
Yes.
Heed the warnings. We don't know where it's going or what it's going to do, but use your senses here with this storm coming up.
We will.
Speaking of Gibby, he does a great job in the play-by-play. I caught some of that football action. What do they call that? The jamboree there.
Yeah, the Bowl City Showcase. He did a wonderful job.
It was fabulous. It was great. It was great stuff, and he did a good job.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. What's going on Orange Park these days, Joe?
Well, again, you're going to have to check our Facebook, our webpage. As of right now, we'll be running. Cards will be in the air, but like I said, heed the warning. Our number one concern is the safety of our patrons, our coworkers, and the Greyhounds. So as of right now, we're on schedule, but as this storm gets closer, just hit up our webpage, Facebook, give us a call. Tonight we got the Twin Try going out, as we always do on Friday night. Also, if you're looking for a great pet, give Shirley a call at Grams' Pets. She's on our website as well. Frank Ashman's at the Wagering Help Desk every Friday and Saturday. And any questions you have about poker, simulcast, ground racing, or dining, Saturday's got the Dime Super Wager, afternoon and evening. And don't forget about our Road to the Breeders' Cup contest. That continues Saturday. Poker room's always open Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. on the weekends. Spread all kinds of games, limits, and tournaments, too. Don't forget to head up our website and our Facebook page as well. And, Frank, what the heck was that football game, Florida and Miami?
Survive in advance, Joe.
Wow,
survive in advance. It was awful. It was an awful game.
Did you thought you were watching a Pop Warner game or what?
Oh, my goodness, did I ever. It was awful, but survive in advance, brother. That's all
right.
that matters. All right,
you
Joe.
guys stay safe, and thanks for the time.
Thanks to you, Joe. We appreciate it very, very much.
Certainly. And by the way, when we are off the air, Rick Ballou takes over, and you can go head out and join him. He will be at the brand new ABBQ, that is Atlantic Beach Barbecue. It is on Atlantic Boulevard in Atlantic Beach, which only makes sense. And he was out there last week. He will be out there again tonight from 5 to 7 p.m., so join him in AB.
All right, we are almost out of time. Football weekend's here. College football weekend. Kerwin Bell calling ball plays tonight. I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to watch little ball tonight.
I'm locking in.
Okay, last night we had our final preseason game. Got home, and the Gibby knows all about this because we talk about it all the time. Got home, had the Pirates game on DVR. I had no idea what had happened. Okay, wife was in bed, so that's really cool because then I get to watch on the bedroom TV. I don't get the bedroom TV very often. This is a very exciting moment for me. Crawled into bed, put the headphones in, turned it on, and I said, okay, if it looks bad early on, I'll hang in there. Scored 7 in the first. Okay, Pirates up 7-0, but it's at Coors Field, so the final could be 24-20. You never know. So I said, I'm asleep. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. Woke up. Final was 11-8. Okay, just so you know. So 11. I have no idea what happened, but the final was we won. The good guys won. So there you go. All right, almost out of time. Jaguars, more cuts coming tomorrow. You'll be all over that. You'll be covering that. People can follow you on Twitter. Hayes always weighs in on 1010XL.com. Does a terrific job writing stories. By 4 o'clock, we'll know all of them.
Correct.
By 4 o'clock, they've got to be. Are we any surprises? Is there anything we're expecting that we don't know, should know, would know?
Yeah, I think going into tomorrow, it's sort of I don't really know if it seems like today was a lot of curveballs. So do we see more of that, or does it fall more in line? So I would anticipate that it'll be probably a little bit more what we expected tomorrow. But yeah, 4 o'clock, and then really I think the big day this weekend will be Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
Because I do think that they're going to – I will be surprised if I had to set an over-under. I think they will claim 4 players off of waivers.
I think that's a good call, and they need depth. I mean, that's obvious. We've watched this team 4 times, and the depth has not been up to the standard of the other NFL teams. So, yeah, I hope that some new blood kind of gets added into this locker room, and I won't be surprised if a veteran quarterback shows up at some point.
Big weekend plans? Are you
watching football.
You're watching the Knowles with Cousin Caitlin?
No, Cousin Caitlin had to go to Michigan for a wedding. But other than that,
I thought you'd watch it with her and just taunt her the whole time.
That would be fun.
Nothing
Actually,
better than your team's 1-0 and the other guy's team's playing. That's when you taunt.
Well,
trying to coach you. I thought I've coached you better than that.
That is good coaching. However, other coaching would be when 2 cousins are fans of completely different teams, you don't watch football games together. Because we once watched that FSU Louisville when FSU got beat down by Louisville, 63-20?
Oh, right.
And that was in my living room. She was not a happy camper. And so we kind of learned we can't really watch games together.
How about that? So that was when it went bad, huh?
That was the day it went bad.
I watched that. We were in San Diego that weekend. And so that was a 9 o'clock start. I think it was a noon game, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was a noon game. So like a 9 o'clock start.
Because I think it was 11 a.m. Central.
And I was with Baselli, who for 2 years was an FSU fan. Then he quit caring about the Knowles. Now he cares again because Andrew's playing again. And I was just chirping the whole time. Chirping over breakfast. Watching it chirping at Baselli's ear over breakfast for that game. So, by the way, I hope Andrew Baselli gets in. Right now he's the backup to Bavion Johnson, the center at FSU. But he's battled his way back. He's a neat kid. He really is. Tony's got a wonderful family. And I really hope he gets to play. And he's expected to play. You don't just hand a scholarship to a guy that's not going to play a little bit of football. So I hope he gets to play a little bit. I'm looking forward to watching the Knowles. I want to see if they've bounced back. I got a hunch maybe they have. I know Florida State fans are very excited about it. I'm really sorry it didn't work out here. It would have been cool to go. I was going to the game, was credentialed, was going to go even try and spend a little time around Taggart because I don't know him very well. I was going to try and get to know him a little, just talk to him after it was over. And I'm sorry that's not going to happen, not just for that, but for local fans. But I'm looking forward to watching that one. Georgia Vandy? Vandy hang around at all?
I don't think so. I think Dog's easy.
Because Georgia's legit. Yeah. This is a Vandy team with that terrific running back, Keyshawn Vaughn, that if Georgia wasn't as good as they are, this could be upset special because it's the first game and it's on the road and those can get sticky. I think this Georgia team's too. I think Georgia's really good. I think this Georgia team's too good for that.
Yeah, I think Georgia sat back and watched that Clemson-Georgia Tech game last night and said, yep, we're going to look like that when we play Vanderbilt on Saturday.
You know, with Jake Fromm, Georgia could win the whole thing.
Oh, sure.
I mean, realistically.
They should have won the whole thing.
Yeah,
already.
With Lawrence, Tua, and Fromm all back, legitimately any of those teams could win the whole thing. Now, look, if Hurts was really good at Oklahoma, we'll see. If Fields is good at Ohio State, we'll see. Then there's the Notre Dame, Michigan, Florida, all the next. But those three teams, because of the amount of 4s and 5s, the amount of NFL players on those rosters, because of those three really, really, really good quarterbacks, Georgia could win that thing. I mean, those three teams could win it.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of that Clemson game last night, even though I don't have ACC Network.
Yeah, you don't, do you?
I don't, but I was still
How'd
able
you
to
watch
watch. They kept showing highlights when I would watch the other college games because I was watching
Oh.
like UCLA, Cincinnati, and then BYU and Utah. And Trevor Lawrence did throw 2 picks, by the way. So just, it can happen for people who are railing against Felipe. I'm not
All
saying
right.
they're the same, but still, he can throw a couple picks.
That's just about going to do it for our program. It is the Football Friday brought to you by our friends at JOI. That is 3 until 7. We'll have this for you, and then we'll have high school football. So it's the Football Friday nights brought to you by JOI, and part of this is the Big Chief Tire Friday, and that's our show from 3 to 5. Folks, that'll do it for our program. We appreciate you being part of it. Rick Ballou comes up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie